Hey folks, Twisted Christian here. Today, I want to give you guys an update on the Iraqi dinar. Now, before I get started, I have to let you guys know I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinion on the Iraq dinar. Now, the Iraqi elections were going on, and folks, I wasn't paying too much attention to what is going on, who's going to be the leader, and all that. I felt it necessary to do this video because of the articles that are going around about the dinar and the raising of the value of the dinar. Now, in past times, I thought it was important that a body was in office in order for this to happen, because I saw him as the least corrupt politician that there was in Iraq. But since then, I've changed my mind, and one of the things is, of course, I always look at Kim Clement's prophecies. And one of the things that he does say, going back to July 18th, 2015, and he says here, as a result of it, and this just came to me 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that there will be provision for the world because what's opened up over the Middle East. Now that sounds crazy, I know, because there's so much wickedness going on with leaders there. That doesn't matter. So God spoke about the fact that there will be blessings that will come as a result of the prayers being answered. So to me, it doesn't matter who's in charge, whether if it's the most wickedest people in the world that are in charge. It doesn't matter to me anymore. There's going to be a time when this blessing is going to come. And this article here, I'm just going to read here a little bit. Preliminary results showed Sadr's bloc, helped by a low turnout, took 73 of the 329 available seats, according to Iraq's national news, up from 54 in 2018 polls. It did best in Iraq's majority of Shia southern provinces. So far, this is the preliminary results, 73 out of 329. But with all this, he's made some statements, and I'm just going to read one of the statements. The next government will prioritize Iraq's interest, Sadr said in a speech after results came through. From now on, the government or the parties will not govern the money. Choices will be made by the people. The oil of the people will be for the people. Now, that's a pretty bold statement. And so what he is saying, what he is promising, is a lot of change in the government. And the government will be for the people. Hinting that he sought to reverse an unpopular government devaluation of the local currency after the pandemic battered its oil-dependent revenues last year, Sadr said, "We will work to raise the level of the Iraqi dinar to that of other foreign currencies." So first of all, we don't know which foreign currencies he's referring to. We know that there are other countries that surround Iraq that have a 3-to-1 rate. And then I want to point to another article, the one that's mostly been going around, because it gives a little bit more details on how he said that they were going to do this. So according to this article, and he says here, and he pledged, "We will work to raise the Iraqi dinar to be in the ranks of global currencies gradually." He said gradually, pointing out that reconstruction, industry, trade, education, and health will have great effort, and there's no difference between one government and another except to the extent of the need and its population census. Al-Sadr indicated that Ba'ath was removed with the blood of Iraqis, and we will remove corruption with our blood, and the blood will be dignified at home and abroad. All right, so then again, he's talking about removing corruption. But one of the things he said, he's talking about moving it gradually. Now, the Iraqi dinar is right now, it's at one of its lowest points. Now, I don't know if these exchanges here in the U.S., because I haven't bought any Iraqi dinar for a little bit, so I haven't paid attention to the prices because I'm not ready to go in and buy any more right at this point. But he did say gradually. So it could be something that they move up, a little bit here and there. That doesn't really make much difference to us as far as the increase in value. but we know at some point there's going to be a major jump. But first of all, folks, the government isn't even formed yet. This is just the beginning. These are just the preliminary results. He is saying all these things. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen next week. You guys are going to be following this. He's going to have to go through and form a government and try to gain allies. Remember, there's 329 available seats. And so far, it was only 73 out of 329. So they still have to work with other parties. They have to work with other politicians in order to make this work. He could go in there, just like some of these other leaders. He can say all these things, what his party wants to do. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take place. All right, we have had, and especially I see this especially with a lot of newer people that are in the dinar community, and they focus on every little deal, every little oil deal, which is okay. But I don't want you guys spending a lot of time worrying about all this stuff, because what I just showed you concerning what Kim Clement said. And Kim Clement said it doesn't matter about the corruption, right? The corrupt politicians and all that. It's going to happen regardless of who's in there. So is this, to me, exciting news? It's okay, because we know that they are going to try to push, whenever the government forms, they're going to try to push to raise the value of the Iraqi dinar. And he wants to put it on in comparison to other foreign currencies. You know, this is good news, but also at the same time, they still have to go through the struggle and through the battles, dealing with all the other politicians and trying to work this out. It sounds like Sadr wants to be for the people of Iraq. He wants to do good for Iraq, but that is all a wait and see, right? So there's no guarantees. You know, people are getting excited, but don't get too excited, folks, because what did Kim Clement say? That this is going to happen when things seem at their worst, because it's going to be provision for the world, because the world is going to need it. And do you really want the Iraqi dinar to revalue right now, seeing where the stock market is at, seeing where inflation is at, seeing where the mindset of people are at right now? You know, look at everybody in every country. The world is not ready for the change. There's been no reset. The reset is just not about finances. The reset deals with everything. You see all the different types of resets that are going on all around the world. You're talking about businesses, churches, the way we do business, relationships. Look at the stock market, the corruption, and how much it's propped up. You really want the dinar to revalue right now when the stock market is on the verge of crashing? So the news article to me is very, very positive news for Iraq and the Iraqi people. But I want people to keep their heads on straight, because we still have a ways to go before this happens. You look at the current rate right now, right? A lot of people are looking for this to jump up to $3 right now, folks. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen until when things seem at their worst. So one of the other things that I do want to mention is that I've been discussing, you have to go back and look at the videos. There are signs that I'm looking for when I'm going to say, this is when I need to buy the dinar right now. I need to buy whatever I can right now. And I've discussed those signs. And there's going to be a time when I talk about that particular sign, you're not going to have opportunities to buy any more Iraqi dinar. You're going to end up having, just like when there was an Iraqi dinar shortage, people will be paying $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 for $1 million dinars. That time is going to come. And all the online exchanges that deal with dinar, they're going to eventually run out of dinars. And that there will be a day that will come, and I will say, folks, this is a sign that this is when we need to stack up on the dinars. Because Kim Clement gave us prophetic clues. And if you've been following this channel, then you already should, if you've been following this channel and you've been listening to those, you already know what I am referring to. So I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on all this thing. You know, it's still preliminary. They still got to form the government. They still all have to agree, right? We already know we've been in this for so long. We know how every time there's an election and how the governments and how they either don't form or they got to get a new prime minister, all these different things that we've seen over the years. So don't get too excited yet, because when things seem at their worst, it's not going to be too exciting. You know, he said it, you know, Kim Clement said it's a result of the prayers of the people there, not because of our prayers. If you are praying for the revaluation of the dinar, then you don't have a true understanding of what the people of Iraq and that region have had to go through to get to that point before the revaluation. And so still, I wait to hear from one of the things that I'm waiting to hear that's not a trigger for me to buy just yet, but it'll start making me think, is that when the Central Bank of Iraq actually lets us know what they're doing with their CBDC, their central bank digital coin. And I'm looking for that information. I'm looking for that news. But the other thing I'm looking for, if you listen to Kim Clement's prophecies concerning the dinar, the grave surrender, when things seem at their worst, there's a lot of things that are going to happen before this happens, folks. So please keep your head on straight. Focus on some of the other investments, the prophetic investments, and any other investments. So right now, what I'm just trying to do, what we really have going on right now, that's with XRP, you know, some of the 8 financial wells, and the other investments that I have that aren't the prophetic investments. I have to try to pay attention to that every day, all the time, and try to pay attention to the news that comes out on each and one of my investments. So you really have to figure out whether or not if you have met your goal. Do you have all the dinars you want? So folks, I just wanted to share this information, share what he actually said. You know, if they move it up gradually, that means the dinar eventually will maybe gradually be at that point. But I think there's going to be a jump, regardless if they take off a few $100. They take it down to 1,200 to 1 or 1,000 to 1. And if they do start moving it up little by little, I'm not expecting to see that until after, you know, they form their government and all that. So we're still waiting, folks. We're still waiting. I just want everybody to be rooted and grounded, and make sure you're paying attention to all the other things that are going on, especially with the stock market, and making sure you're watching the other prophetic stocks and make sure that you're taking advantage of those opportunities. I'm sure the gurus who say that this is going to happen every week, every weekend, every holiday, whatever the case, I'm sure they'll be taking advantage of that, because I still feel like that when this is all said and done, folks, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to end up losing a lot of their dinars. So anyways, folks, tell me what you think. If you guys like these videos, the support links are down below in the description. So I appreciate you guys listening. God bless. And with that being said, TC out.